Go ahead.
No,
Uh,
yeah, no, no. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's not really moving in a progressive manner. So I choose to, because I don't know if you noticed, I kind of left after that began.
yeah. The title today is I Have to Be Conservative. And when I say have to be conservative, I'm not saying I have to be a conservative. It's not necessarily a political view. It's like, you know, on this show, we tend to, I tend to lean to the left. You know, Pat and Doc and Deuce tend to lean to the right, I would say. That's why we end up arguing over certain topics or whatever. And I like to make clear that, I don't think anyone is completely liberal or completely conservative. I think that everyone is a mix of those things. But when I say that I have to be conservative, it has to do with like survival, you know? Um, you can't be successful in life, or at least from my perspective, without having a good amount of conservatism in you. Because, like, Pat made a comment in one of the shows fairly recently where he said, he said, I think that you're more conservative than you let on, you know. And I thought about it because I was editing and it came up again, and I was thinking about, I think he's pretty right about that. I can't help but to be, like I say, I can only rely, I don't have anybody else to rely on. I can only rely on myself. That's the only person, that's the only entity that I can, completely rely on. I can't rely on the government. I can't rely on like family members and friends. Not necessarily. When there's a time when I need some help or whatever, which is rare, it's a couple of people that I can reach out to or whatever. But for the most part, I have to completely rely on myself. So when if I fall short, I know that it was based on the decisions that I made. So then I'm always thinking about this. I'm always making sure that I have my own back. And the only way to do that is by being conservative. I have a huge heart, and that's the reason why I don't deal with a lot of people, because people like to take advantage of people who have a good heart. I really care. I love myself. And I think that if you love yourself truthfully, then you love humanity. You love others truthfully. Even people that you don't know, people that you haven't met, people that aren't directly, you know, in your life. So, and then when you have the people that are in your life, the people that you care about immensely, for whatever reason, friends and family, then you feel obligated, you know, to help them when they need help. There's a thing that I've had to learn. I can't help people at the loss of yourself. Like you can't help them to the point where you put yourself in a bind, because those same people that you helped aren't going to be there for you. Really, they can't be there for you because they're not, let's say, conservative enough to be able to cover themselves and others. So when the time comes when you need something, you can't go to them. They're not there. They don't have it, you know? So, it took me a long time to come around to this because I tend to have this liberal way of thinking, if you will. but I have to be truthful and honest to myself too at the same time that, the only way for me to be successful from day to day to accomplish the goals that I set out to accomplish is for me to be conservative. I have to take care of myself. I have to make sure I have my own back. And that means that I have to have more than I need. You know what I mean? I really do. Because that way, when the rainy day comes, I got me, you know, when things happen. Like today, I mean, like this week, I really had a long week, you guys. Like, I'm off tomorrow, but I haven't been off from work since Thursday of last week, So I've just done like a 7 day stretch, and I go to school and I have kids. So all that is the reason why I'm late coming on the show tonight is I had to finish up some homework before I got on here because it was due tonight at 11:59. So I had to knock it out before I got on the show after getting off of work. So I went to school. I got up this morning and went to class, and my last class ends at 2:30, and I have to be to work at 3. And I go to school on campus at the University of Houston, and where I work at is like I-10 Memorial area. So I had to like be like Superman and change in the car, run into the job. I was a few minutes late because I had to grab me something to eat on the way from school. I didn't have time to grab nothing to eat at school. So that's what it is. And earlier this week on Monday, my brakes were about to go out. The how like the light comes on, the brake light came on and then it was dinging, and I was like, I didn't think nothing of it. It dinged and then it went away, and then it dinged and then it went away, and the light was flashing, and I was looking at it and I was like, huh. I don't want to freaking end up on the side of the road or end up having a wreck or something. I knew it was my brakes. So on my break at work, I worked a double on Monday. So, and I had about a 2 hour break in between. And so after I got off of work for lunch, I went straight to the car repair place and I got my car fixed. My front brakes were out of there. And so I had to get brakes and shoes and a brake flush and all of that. And that came to like well over $500. And I was able to get that done and then go back to work, and that's what I did. And so, and also my youngest is having a birthday this week. Well, her birthday was yesterday. And the party is Saturday. And I had to shell out a good amount of money for that. So I don't know. I don't know. Am I complaining? I'm not complaining. I'm saying that I had to be there. I had to be able to be there for that. Does that make any sense? Like this was a unplanned expense. The almost $600 for the brakes. I knew I was going to have to pay for her birthday party, but it came to more because talking to her mom, and she ended up changing the plans, and the thing ended up costing more. She's still asking for money, and on Saturday I'm going to have to pay some more. So, what I'm saying is unplanned expenses. I have to be prepared for those. It could be something else could happen. Something else could happen tomorrow or the next day. Rent is coming up around the corner. We all have bills. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. What I'm saying is I have to be conservative so that I can be successful. So, I can't just spend money willy nilly. I can't just people text me all the time. I get Cash App requests on my phone every other day from family members. And I can't, like, one of the rules I have is that whatever people ask for money, I don't give them the whole amount that they ask for. I give, or I'll say no, but when I do give them the money, I make a rule to not give the amount that they're asking for. I cut it, like, maybe not completely in half, but I'll take off a good amount off the top that they're asking for. And it doesn't matter how much money I have in my account. It's not about that. It's that I'm not going to give them exactly what they're asking for. And there is me being conservative, um, you know, and making sure that I have me and I have my back. Because when things happen, I got to be able to take care of it. Recently, I did the passport thing for me and two of the kids, and that came to a lot. And all of this, anyways, I mean, what's up, Pat? How you feeling, man?
Feeling pretty
You
good, man.
there?
How about yourself?
I'm all right. The name of the show is I Have to Be Conservative. And the reason why I made that the title is because of something that you said in one of the shows recently. You was like, I think that you're more conservative than you let on to be, you know? And it got me to thinking, because whenever I go back and I do editing, because when we're in the show, we're in the moment sometimes. I don't have time to really just process things. So, but when I'm editing, I end up processing things a little bit more. So I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? Pat is right. I am. And
Of
the
course
name
I
of the
am.
show is I Have to Be Conservative. The name of the show is I Have to Be Conservative because
How could you question it, man? I mean, I'm always right. What you mean? No.
I have to be conservative because I only the only person now that I can rely on is me. So if I drop the ball, I drop the ball, and I suffer. So I don't like being in the. I really hate being in a position where I can't take care of business. You know what I'm saying? And you never know what's gonna pop up. So then, therefore, I live my life that way, knowing that there's no telling what's gonna pop up. So I gotta make sure that I got me, regardless. So the stuff that I want to do, I'm gonna make sure I cover that, and I'm gonna make sure I have plenty to cover whatever the hell freaking pops up.
I like the idea. I understand where it's coming from. It's a very, very communistic, socialistic idea.